everyone, my name is RenéeQ Boateng and you're welcome to the RenéeQ Show. And this is really, really special to me because we're taking, just a little twist. What we are doing right now is we are focusing on women and their powerful stories. Every woman has a story. And this is a really special one because we've taken a little, twist to it. This time we're going to be talking about the real life stories of women. We're going to be talking about their resilience, their growth, how they got to where they are today. Everyone has a story and I know you do too. Now our guest today is a very special lady, Nana Akua Owusu Ababio. I'll tell you a little bit about her. Maybe a little? I'll tell you a bit about her. Now she's a seasoned professional with over 18 years of experience in banking, financial management, corporate governance, international development, and project management. She's a unit head for e-banking sales at Prudential Bank Limited, where she leads the adoption of digital banking solutions. Her career journey includes roles at Bank of New York, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Zenith Bank Ghana, and UNICEF headquarters, where she contributed to global policy development on ending child marriage. Nana Akua holds a BSc in finance from Rutgers University and an MA in international development and social change from Clark University. Passionate about social impact, she volunteers with Eduhene Foundation, supporting educational scholarships for underprivileged girls. So it's interesting, Nana Akua. I just, remember how we first met, and it was at Zenith Bank. And we had such a great time, isn't it?
No.
But I quickly ran away.
I know.
And you're still in banking.
I know. Trust me. I really appreciate this compliment, but I'm nowhere near where I really need to be or I want to be. But I think with the great foundation we had at Zenith, the work ethics has always been to do your best, put in your best, and try and aim for the high, pinnacle you can get to. So that's the mission I'm still on. Still open for greater opportunities. Every day at Prudential, I have the mindset of I need to do my utmost best to be recognized and to be seen amongst the best. So that's what I'm working on now, and it's been a great run with Prudential Bank.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic. Interesting that you're saying best, right? Because we strive to get to where we want to. I mean, we get there. People see us, they admire us, and they think that you probably just got there like that with no issues. They probably think that you just got there. Exactly. And they think everything is okay. But in life, I mean, everybody goes through something.
You're right. And that's one of the life experiences that I sort of with maturity or with growth have learned to appreciate. Nothing comes, and anything promised like a quick fix is most likely a sham. So we all have to put in the work. And I think in our conversation it's going to come up. There are times that I felt a sense of entitlement in some instances, and you realize that no, you have to put in the work to get where you need to be. So people that admire us, like younger selves of us, say, oh man, she's here. It came with going through the mill and not being handed anything on a silver platter. Everything is a process, and I think as Christians we know that.
Yes. But even apart from just career, like I'm talking about how just generally in life you can get to a point. Like sometimes I share testimony. I love to share testimonies because number one, it gives glory to God, but also it inspires and encourages other people, and that's what the RenéeQ Show is about now. Anyway, I think it's just time for people to hear some of the things that people have been through that they probably thought they couldn't have, come out of. They probably thought they couldn't have made it, and they have.
Yes.
For people to actually understand and to see that, oh wow, maybe there's something that they are going through. There are many other people who've gone through it, so they can, so they can make it. So there are so many different hits to life, I would say. So I don't know if you have something you want to share with us. There's so many different I mean, I've been through so many different things, and you know, you have as well. I don't know if there's anything that you want to share, you know, to looking back, that you probably thought you couldn't have got, you know, you couldn't have made it, and now sometimes you look back and you're thinking, wow, I made it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, before I even get to answering that question, I'll just say point to self, or note to self and to viewers. Once you have the gift of life, no matter what point, low point you feel you are in life, there's still hope.
Yes.
You know, not giving up from the low points is a starter. You know, because the moment you give up, it means that whatever potential lies behind whatever trials you may be going through, you wouldn't get the opportunity to experience that. So I want to add that. In terms of life experiences, yes, Renee, you mentioned earlier we're friends, so you know this is this feels like a conversation after the conversation. But life has thrown a lot of major blows, but one that sticks out mostly in overcoming it, and I say I've overcome it because I see myself in a much better place. I can talk about this without you know, being all emotional. Even not to say it's not emotional, but
you've got a certain kind of strength now.
Exactly. So here I was, a young wife, you know, of about less than 6 years. My son then was about 5 and a few months, and then from nowhere, my husband then just woke up one morning with what we call a stiff neck. You know, fast forward. Weeks, 2 weeks we're treating malaria, 3 weeks we're treating something else, and then we got a huge diagnosis of leukemia after about 6 weeks of treating what wasn't the ultimate that we had gotten. So that really was the beginning of I would say a lot of heavy weight on my shoulders as a young wife. I had a son, I had a pregnancy, a baby on the way, and everything was good. And then that hit us. So I say that the details, I think, in conversation will come up. Fast forward, unfortunately, I lost him. From that onset of the diagnosis to 2 years after, we battled. We had highs, we had lows, and I lost my husband of barely 6 years of marriage. So did I think I was going to make it through in a moment? No, because I had in a way built my life around my family unit that I had.
And it was a beautiful one.
I had built my life around that. So it was a moment of, how am I going to go through this? How am I going to bring up a child and, well, 2 children, because at the time my daughter was in. So how am I going to do this on my own? So it was a period of uncertainty, and like I introduced with, if you give up, then it's like you don't see what is after. So in a nutshell, that was an experience. I had to deal with loss, a heavy loss, as a young woman that had just gotten married, and with so much hope and dreams for a family and all that, and that all was taken away. You
know, it's interesting that you're saying that if I gave up then, or if you give up, then there's no hope. But the thing is, when you're going through whatever it is you're going through, you don't know about, you know, there being no hope if you give up. At the time, really, truly, and we are talking about honest conversation here. At the time that you're going through it, whatever it is you're going through, you really think, I really cannot make it. At that time, you're not thinking, I have the hope. You're not. You're not thinking it at all. You know, so I'm just wondering. I mean, because I was with you throughout the whole step. You know, but even though I was by your side, I wasn't in you. So I don't know how you were truly feeling. You shared certain things with me. At that time, I don't even know if it was the truth. You know, because sometimes, you know, you'd ask a question. You ask a question, you know, how are you? And what's the answer we always give?
Honest truth is, you are never fine. And there's no shame in admitting that. But what keeps you through? When I say you don't give up, it also entails the company you have around you, the support you have around you. I consider myself someone that has the best in the whole wide world in terms of support. I claim that. And I remember my experience. I used to say I had been put in a bubble, and you know, that so much support around me that everybody was hand-holding to manage my grief. And you mentioned yourself, I had true friends. You know, I have friends that were not my friendship with most people is this way, and I think we understand each other. We're not constantly on the phone, we're not constantly in our homes, we're not constantly in our spaces, but when we pick up conversations, it's like there was never
it's like
there
a
was
quick catch up.
Exactly. And I feel like that's one of the best foundations in terms of support. Another very key support in my life is my family, still is my family. Both parents, selflessly my parents.
You know, I you know, even hearing you talk about it and everything, it's just, you know, taking me back to then. And I'm just wondering that at that time, even though you had all the support around you, and I'll even ask you about what support you had around you, but I'm just wondering, through that time, what would you say was probably the toughest time? What was the toughest moment, and how did you get out of that? How did you overcome that?
So I would say answering to my children when moments where they will say, I miss daddy. Or an instance is I had to take my son to the barber shop once, and it was a period where like I was trying to make up for the lost daddy time. So maybe I'm enrolling him in football camp, you know, swimming, and I'm doing all these things. And in my blind side, I think my son felt like an overload of me trying to do too much. So he went into the barber shop, and for the first time I didn't go with him. I said, go, I'll be in the car, I'll wait for you. And then he came back with a haircut that he didn't like, and then he was upset. And in trying to address that, I said, but why didn't you say anything? That's when my son really broke down in tears and said, I miss daddy. You know, my daughter has had moments like that where she's in tears. I miss daddy, you know. So those moments are the lowest for me in terms of this journey. How I've handled that, I think I've had an open door policy of talking through some of these things with my children. So leaving them to sort of deal with this emotion they have, and finding the right time to bring back conversation always, to let them understand that, you know, growing up without their dad, it is not the ideal situation in my opinion, but where I'm there full, you know, with full backing to give them that support they need. And then also with prayer, because some of these things, you make up your mind, you have the best answers in your head, but it doesn't soothe the pain the way it is but for prayer. So that's how I've handled these low points.
Can I ask you? You said, you know, when your son went to the barbering salon and got the wrong hair, you said that's when he broke down. So are you saying that was the first time he broke down, or was he like shielding it? Was he aware of what had happened?
He's always been aware from day one. In terms of breaking down in emotion about his dad, I would say that was a major one, because that was a moment in the car where I felt very helpless, you know, because he misses his dad, you know, he has to miss his dad. So in that moment, how do you make the child feel like everything will be okay? Everything will be okay. So it was like the first major best for me in terms of having a meltdown moment for him. So I mean, we deal with the little ones, you know. I'm in school, I see friends come in with their father, even at football camp. I'm the mother in the stance, and it's all that, you know. So in terms of an emotional meltdown, that was the major one. It really hits me then, you know. So in terms, my children missing out on growing up with their dad, when I think about that life experience, is the one that hits most. I mean, aside me not having my spouse, is the one that hits most for me, because we all know that growing up, habits and all those are formed by, you know, in the home setting. So you, as a lifelong journey, you would want to have a complete system at home.
That's true. That's true. I'm just like, wow. I mean, the reasons why I go back to Mother's Day again, that when it's Mother's Day, you're one of the mothers that I really, really admire and so appreciate and really respect. And I always send a message and I say, Happy Mother and Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because you've been such an amazing, you are an amazing mother. You've been such an amazing father as well.
Thank you.
And I think that's what is important. You know, unfortunately, you lost your husband, unfortunately. There are some husbands that are in the home, but they are lost.
That's true.
You know, yes. And how do the mothers also cope? You know, so sometimes there are some men that are there in the home, but they are lost. You know, and what is the mother doing? You know, so when I've seen situations, I know of, you know, some I talk to a lot of people. So sometimes some people will tell you that my father was there, but I didn't feel him. Or my father was there, but I didn't feel his love. I didn't feel his presence. Then they tell you what their mother too did. And that is not what you are doing. You know, and so that's why I just feel like when it's Mother's Day, you and another cousin of mine, you know, and there's another friend of mine as well, the three of you, when it's Mother's Day, after I finish my Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, the three of you,
we're next in line.
Oh my goodness. And it's I love the power. I love, and it's by God's grace, I'll say.
Definitely. It's
by God's grace. Definitely. And I love how you always look up to him. Every time we have our conversations, we always talk about that. Definitely. You know, looking up to him for the grace and for the strength that we need to go on in any area of our lives, you know. Who would you say, or what would you say really helped you go through this?
Without a doubt, my parents. You know, my parents have been great support. And by extension, my siblings, my brothers. I have currently two strong brothers. I had three brothers. Unfortunately, I lost one along the way. But my brothers, my parents have been of immense support. When I say immense, total support. My dad has managed to weave himself into a grandpa, a father role for my children. And as when I take out my parents, I've had great support from some very strong men in our lives, which are friends of my late husband, who have held the fort from day one. You know yourselves, G8, I call them. They've been really, really great support. So I've been able to sort of tap into that kind of support and linked it to my children. So although my children are growing up not having 24/7 father in the house, between my parents and my support in terms of G8 and then my true friends too, I think I've been able to excel to this point. And of course, our Heavenly Father, of course, that is always a given, because we call him Abba Father all the time.
Okay, so, you know, talking about maturity now, there are certain things that, you know, sometimes I look back and I'm thinking, I would have done this differently if I know what I know today, or if, you know, if I was who I am today, because we are all growing. You know, do you ever, looking back, do you ever think you could have done anything differently?
I think I would have been still more. You know, it says, be still and know that I am God. Don't fret. I would have been still more. I mean, I would have clinged onto God harder. My journey leading up to my relationship with God has been a process, and like we said about, you don't get things on a silver platter. You can't get. That's how I have built this journey, and knowing what I know now, I think then I would have just laid still. Things happen that we don't have control of. It never meant or it never means God doesn't have an eye on us. But when we go through some challenges as women, as individuals, we tend to fret. And it's like if you've done swimming lessons before, you know that sometimes they'll tell you when you do the giddy giddy giddy, you can drown. Sometimes you have to be still. And then thought process, mind conscious, know that there's a higher being that knows the end from the beginning, and once you're putting your trust in him, it won't work out. So I've mastered that process. I wouldn't say that I don't get worried, because I'm human. But I get worried knowing that I will come through and it will be good.
And that has to be intentional. At this point, really, that really has to be intentional for us to. Otherwise, and it can be anything. It can be anything. But I like that you said, about how your journey with Christ has been, in stages. And at each stage, I'm sure you're getting stronger and stronger. So, looking back, you're saying to yourself, if I was at this stage, I would have probably, and that's so true. And that's so true. That probably somebody is going through this, going through something similar, or or thinking that this is how they are feeling, even though there's a man at home. They're probably feeling that the man is lost, or there's just something. What advice do you think? What can you say to somebody, going through? Because somebody's probably watching, thinking, that's my story, but I haven't gotten out of it yet. That's my story. And wow, she got out of it. Can you help me? I mean, sometimes I watch programs and I'm just at this point at the edge of the seat, like, talk to me. So do you think you can talk to somebody going through, something like this?
So the most important thing in any instance of a challenge, like I said, if I had been still more, is to calm down. I know it's oversimplified to say calm down, because there's a lot that goes into being calm down in the face of challenges. But you realize that the human mind is such that once you take that chill pill and you put things in perspective, you get clarity to make plans forward, or to see the grand scheme of things. Yes, you lose your husband. I can say that because I've gone through that experience. Yes, maybe it's only one income coming home. Yes, you have 2 children, 3 children, 5 children. Yes, maybe you probably don't have a support system. But once you take that space in your mind to calm down and put a thought process to it, it's not impossible to overcome it. Once you're calm, you know that my next step is, maybe I have to upscale myself. It's probably career-wise, or even your personal, what do I have to do to make a livelihood? You have to think through that, because you can pray, you can ask God for his protection, you can ask God for his wisdom, but God works through what you are also offering. So you have to calm down and put a plan on paper, guided by the higher being. I say a higher being because I believe in God, but a higher being because we are all wired to see somebody covering over our lives. Whatever it is that people believe, I choose to believe in God. And then ask for the wisdom for the next steps, and build a network of good support. When I say that, if you have family, you have to tap into whatever support your family has to offer. You have to make yourself ready to accept help.
Please talk a little bit more about that. I like that you said that. You have to be ready to accept.
Sometimes we feel like, do I want to go and make myself vulnerable to someone? but you can't do everything.
You break down thinking you are the hard macho one
on your own. And if you are ready to accept help from a place of humility, there's nothing wrong with that. Because in the tree adage it said nipa nuya any nipa, you can always get help once it's being offered. I don't say you go cap in hand or like are begging, shamelessly, but when you put yourself in a space of, I can't do this on my own, if anybody's willing to help and I'm ready to accept it with humility and gratitude to humans and then a higher being, because we also know that in the church they tell us God works through human beings. So accepting help doesn't make you any less of a human being.
Oh, can you please say that again?
Accepting help.
Oh, let's say it together, please. Accepting help doesn't make you any less of a human being.
Yes.
Please high five. no, maybe we should have a program and just come and talk about that.
Yes, so because it's something that
key.
It's very key because we all have pride to a point, but we also need to live life and live it to the utmost, to God's glory, because that's what He wants it to be like. So, yes.
Oh, I love that. I'm just thinking, how has this experience made you stronger? I know you. Like, I wish I could just be answering the questions for you. I know you, and Nana here, sometimes the advice you give me, it gives me goosebumps. Sometimes when I have issues and I call you and I talk to you, you quietly listen to me. You listen to, when I say true friends, I have few true friends, like people that I can just call and bear my all to. You're one of those friends. And when I call you to talk to you about things, I've just noticed a change. You know how you said stages? It's true, but because before, certain responses you have given me and all that, it's changed. Like now, you just listen to me, and that's another show. So let's continue with this one. How would you say this has made you stronger? I mean, looking back, would you say that you are a stronger person because of what you've been through? So I'm not talking about normal growth and, we all become, wiser. Well, those who become, but as we are growing, we are all learning and becoming, But this particular situation, would you say has made you a stronger person? And if so, how?
I definitely would attribute my level of strength to my experience. I've grown to build a lot of resistance towards life, because what I've shared is one facet of a challenge that happens, but having been able to stand with the help of God has helped me build resistance, and that has made me very stronger. Independence, we're talking about 12 plus years of doing this journey, a little over 12 years of doing this journey. And resistance is what I'll say, independence is what I've seen, patience is what I've built, listening more is what I've built, not jumping into conclusion. So this experience has made me a person that I don't write off anything in my life, being the people I meet, the relationships I built with friends, work colleagues. I listen and I make sure that I get the good out of it, to move forward with it. Resistance to all manner of ups and downs. I've also built that, and of course, like I said, my journey with God has really improved, and so that's really what the experience has given me, that resistance and independence. I feel like I can go through anything.
you feel like, or you know that you can.
Yes,
you feel it or you know it.
Well, I would say I feel it. I feel it,
and you know it and you feel it.
Yes, because of course nobody can foresee what the next life experience is, but with experiences I've built to this far, I mean, what could top it? You know, what could top it? You know, so I built the independence, I built the resilience, and I think I'm good. Nyame adom, I'm good.
Nyame adom, by God's grace.
Yes,
by God's grace. That's beautiful. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
Do you think you know where I'm going?
Cut.
Okay. Now I'll ask you this. Okay. Do you think you're ready to move on?
In what?
You want me to go deeper?
Yeah. This is a RenéeQ show. We talk about everything.
Yes, it's true. You know, do you think you're ready to go into another relationship? Because I know some women who've gone through certain pains that has, that has like sort of literally cut them off whatever it was. So maybe somebody went through a divorce and they're off marriage forever. Somebody had an issue with a particular kind of person, and every other kind of person they don't want to have any issue with again. You know, that sort of thing. Do you think you're ready to I like that smile. But you know what? Do you think you're ready to?
Renee is going places, and well, we have to answer the question. I think, like on a serious note, I think I am ready. I know I'm ready to move on. Like I mean, yes, it's been a long journey, and this question is being made very official, but it's the mind of a lot of people around me. But believe me, it's when you go through a journey like that, instantly, I speak for myself, and maybe I speak for people with similar experiences. Instantly, that's the last thing that crosses your mind. I, for one, I've always been, how do I get my children to be on their feet to a point where I know I've done a good job? So that has always been at the forefront of my mind. Yes, I've thought about moving on, and it's something that I'm open to. So help me God. So it's
I can I'll put my email address.
I can't believe it. We're turning into a dating show now.
Listen, you never know who's watching. Please smile and say hi. Say hi, I'm Nana Akua. Say something.
Oh, please, Renee.
Oh my goodness.
Let's not mind Renee.
I really can't say it enough. I can't say it enough of how proud I am of you, and how sometimes looking at and listening to people's situations, different situations, makes me or increases my faith in God. I mean, I have my own story. Other people have so many stories. As I'm listening, it sort of, just confirms the God that I believe in. Because I'm just like, wow. I'm just like, wow. This has been how many years? You said, and I've seen. And I'm just like, wow. God is amazing.
And we have more testimonies to come. I think, not to cut you, but one thing that I in return admire about you, and you said it, you're a woman of testimony, and you the way you share to inspire people is very admirable, and that is what
I think it's my 10.
I know you're a woman of testimony, and one thing that I in return admire most about you is how you're very honest and frank about your story that you share to inspire other people. And in your blind side, maybe I don't say that much, that's one thing I really admire about you, because through how you share, I know you're saying I inspire you, but it's some source of strength knowing that, you know, I am tied to a friendship or a sisterhood where I can tap into that energy, because it's never lost, you know, no matter how.
Do you think you want to pass me a tissue?
Aye.
Okay, yes.
So, I mean, it doesn't come as a surprise to me, your trajectory and the people you've impacted so far, because I'm one of them. So kudos, good job.
Wow.
And
So
you know, you're doing a great job.
So glory to God.
Great job.
Sometimes we go through a mess and we don't know that that is our message. You know, and there was one time that I was speaking to a lady, and you know, after the conversation, gosh, please, my mascara is not waterproof. So let's change the topic. We'll come back.
Oh, sure.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm strong.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So, you know, when I spoke to the lady, or after our conversation, what I heard was,
Take your time.
Oh gosh.
Take your time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's RenéeQ.
Take over. You're the host now. Take over for 2-3 minutes. Take over for 2-3 minutes. We'll go on. We can do it.
I know.
We can do it.
I mean, I think
we can do it.
I'm here on the other side for this show, but I know that the inputs of this show is to inspire people. And so when we share these very frank moments of emotion, of having survived and gone through things, it's just for you on the other side to know that it is not all lost. Yeah, experiences are painful, but they are supposed to sharpen us and make us better, you know. So once you come to that realization, like my sister
then
here,
you can move on.
Yeah.
So after that conversation, what I felt in my spirit, or what I heard, was you couldn't have spoken to her like that if you hadn't gone through it yourself.
Yes.
It's very easy to Google stuff and learn to teach, and there's a different kind of also, you know, teaching through experience. And so, you know, we all go through difficult times, really difficult times, but it really, like my sister here said, it's not something that should kill us. It's not something that should break our confidence, our hope, and everything. It's for a higher purpose, but you have to be intentional about making that your about living that purpose, and you can, and you can. This is fantastic. I've had such a great time.
Same here.
I've had such a great time. Oh my goodness! Wow. Let's say thank you to Kivo, because their spices are really good. Have you tried their spices? What would you say your favorite food is?
My favorite food?
Yes, I know you like cooking.
Oh, I would do anything rice any day. Rice and stew, jollof, rice and kontomire. I'm a rice queen, you know, so.
But almost every Ghanaian is a rice queen.
Well,
our dishes are proper, and when we cook well. Like the spice. Have you tried Kibo spices though? You know what? I am so proud of them, I have to say. And it's because number one, it's natural.
It's all natural.
I'm so when I go and buy food and all that, I'm reading the ingredients now, because there's certain things that I've decided for my health. We are growing,
exactly.
You know, and I just love that it's
all natural.
It's all natural.
Yeah.
I just love that. So I started using their spices quite a while ago. So I'm just so proud that they've chosen to join. To come on. I'm just I'm so happy that it is them, or one of them, more to come. You know what I mean? But I really think that you should try. They have a curry one. Try it with your jollof.
I've tried the powdered pepper.
Yes,
Probably nice. But I would really do well to expand.
You should. Yeah. You should. Oh, I love you so much.
Thank you.
I love you so much.
Love you too.
Now, I think I can only love you because I also love myself. So I'll ask you a question. What would you say is the one thing you love about yourself?
Oh,
I've done myself self-love ambassador. What would you say is the one thing that you could say you love about yourself?
I think I consider myself very modest and full of humility, and I get that feedback, so I can only also emphasize it, even though I know myself. I get that feedback from people, and growing up, one thing I was taught is being humble, like doing things within, like being humble, really. So I love that about me, because I feel like it opens doors for me. I don't walk into any room with airs thinking I know it all, and so that way I'm able to build myself, because I learn from people. So my modesty, my humility, I love, and that's one thing I'm teaching my children as well.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that's really, really good. And I think you understand what humility is. When I was talking about you, I was going to say that one thing I really like about you is how humble you are. But some people don't understand humility. But some people think that being humble means, then you don't even dress up, you don't look good, blah, blah, blah. Wrong definition. and trust me, my friend, is not. That's why I said I think you understand humility. Because you are very modest, very humble, but girl... You want to kick up your heels. She looks good, and she looks good all the time, and I love that.
Thank you.
Just being humble doesn't mean you have to put yourself down. You also have to always be the tubeje woman.
Exactly.
Looking after yourself, taking good care of yourself, looking good all the time, and that is what we do to glorify God.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming on this show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a good one. It's been a good one for me. I have learned a lot. I hope you watching, I hope you've learned a lot as well.
Thank you,
it's been a great one. For all those who are interested, maybe you have a nice brother out there.
This is Ghana Sealer Black. Blind date happening right here.
We'll be right back. So go and enjoy your spices. I know I'll see you tomorrow, my friend. But I'll see you next week. Stay blessed.